Hi. This topic is planting tomorrow's shades today. It's not just about trees. This is about land stewardship, how we look at land, how we think about land. And it's really important to me because it happened again to me, I think it was yesterday. It's either yesterday or the day before. Someone said to me, well, you rent that place, don't you? And I said, yes, because I had just told him that we just planted 15 more trees. And he said, well, why would you plant trees on land you rent? Okay. Now let's be economic about this, okay? My husband is 85. He has 17 diseases. He's had 3 heart attacks, 4 heart surgeries, and 5 strokes. Why would he take out a 30-year mortgage? Does it make sense? Okay. I'm 79. I'll be 80 on my next birthday. And why would I take out a 30-year mortgage? Does that make sense? Of course not. We're both on pensions, so we don't have savings to buy a house. And why would we buy a house? If we bought a house, we'd have to sell it, right? And our daughter lives in the United States. We live here in Ecuador. It doesn't make sense, does it? However, if we are deep ecologists, and if you look at what a deep ecologist is, it's someone who considers the earth as something sacred, essentially, something to be cared for, something to be respected, and people as a part of the earth as the trees and the flowers and the birds. We all sing together. We all cry together. So the idea of, which is very much an idea in the United States, of buying a piece of property and selling it for more than you bought it for, even though you used it all that time. Now, granted, you may have added 15 trees to it, but we just added 15 trees to a rental property. So why would you buy something, keep it for a year or two, and sell it and expect to sell it for way more than what you paid for it when you lived in it? You see what I mean? To a deep ecologist, it just doesn't make sense. But economically, it does. So, back to being a deep ecologist. If I planted 15, well, there's a saying in the United States, it's very common, the best time to plant a tree was 10 years ago. Regardless of when you say it, the best time to plant a tree was 10 years ago. Well, that's true. It is. It is the best time to plant a tree. But if I don't plant it today, how's it going to be here for someone in 10 years to enjoy? And why, when it's so relatively inexpensive to plant a tree, and because I live in Ecuador where there's sufficient rain, and I have someone who cares for the grounds, helps me with the grounds, helps me with all the gardening things I do, why wouldn't I expect that person to take on a few more trees? I mean, how much work is there in taking care of a baby tree? I mean, really, how much work is involved in taking care of a young tree? Now, it needs to be watered, but it's the wet season. It rained last night from about 3:30, or no, I'm sorry, 2:30. 2:30 last night until 7:30 this morning. Nice, soft, easy rain. It's penetrated, there's no flooding. So the trees are sitting there right down this hill, a ridge over here, right down over there. They're all in that area. So why would I be concerned about the work to take care of a few more trees? I wouldn't, because it's not. just not that much work. And why would I appreciate somebody planting the trees now? Well, to tell you the truth, when we came here, there were about 60 banana trees and about 6 papaya trees and a couple of avocado trees and a mango tree. And do you think we just let the fruit rot? Of course not. We ate it. It was wonderful. Make sense? Got it? Okay. So what happens when somebody comes here and the trees are growing and they're bearing fruit? They're going to eat it, right? And they're part of the human race, which I'm part of. And this dog down here is part of the environment that we all live in. He shares this environment with me. So why would I not plant trees? Doesn't that make sense? Okay. Now, people also ask us, why don't you buy property? Well, if we buy property, my understanding is in order to sell the property, my daughter would have to come to Ecuador to close a sale. My daughter has no interest in coming to Ecuador to close a sale. So what happens is that all the property just returns to the government. There's a whole area, Bucerias, a whole area on the coast that's just filled with property that's been returned to the government because somebody bought it and then they left. And so it just sits there. It's crazy. It doesn't make sense. And if somebody has already purchased the property and taken care of it, maintained it, why would I want to purchase it and go through it? Just, one of the things that's going on in the world is that people move pretty quickly. The average person has 13 jobs by the time they're 24 years old. And of course, after that, people typically fall into whatever career they want to be in, or work towards another career by going to school while they're working at a job they don't want to do for life. So keeping yourself flexible by not buying property makes sense. I mean, a lot of people say, well, yeah, but it's more to rent, and rent keeps going up. That's true in general, but lots of things are very crazy right now. So it may be that, could be, that prices will go down. I mean, you just don't know. The only constant we have in life is change. And how we live our lives, it's really a matter of personal choice. People get to make a choice into how they live their lives, what they do, where they live, what kind of a lifestyle they choose. And personally, my husband and I are retired here in this rental farm, and we couldn't imagine a better situation. Now, have we done more sustainable things? Well, yeah, the last place we had, we thought was our last home forever. But it was a $120,000 scam. We built the house on property that we were told was a permaculture farm and would remain a permaculture farm, and that we could live there for our lives. But it was a scam. So now we're paying that off, because we thought we would be there for life. And because it was a scam, there were a lot of legal bills. The house would have been paid off if it wasn't for the legal bills. So now this is the best option. But we've also lived before in more sustainable places. We had a dry composting toilet and solar and on-demand water heater and all the different things that reduce the cost. We had that at the last place, and it was made of stone. It was darling. It was called an Eco Hobbit house. It had a round door. It was beautiful. But now we have a beautiful rental home. I don't know when it was built, but we're both very happy with it. And we're happy with the fact that part of our money every month goes to enrich the soil, to add plants, to add trees. We've added a lot of trees. I mean, this place is going to be like a food forest. We've added about 4,000 square feet of garden. We've caretaken 4 of his bulls, which we just love. All of the memories of our childhood on farms have come flooding back, and we love that. It's about making a bigger picture of what you're doing. I mean, what we did last week was plant trees. But what we're doing is planting goodwill, planting will for the future, hoping for a future, hoping that someone else will live here and at the time they do, enjoy the fruits of our labors and be replenished by that fruit, nurtured by that fruit, which to us makes so much sense. We're all human beings. We all struggle with different things in life. Most of us live paycheck to paycheck. When you're our age and you're on a pension, of course you do. But putting aside a portion of our income to promise that other people have a space when they want it with food makes sense to us. It's about community thinking. It's about being a part of a greater whole. It's about looking at life with a broader picture frame, a more open sense of who we are and what we're on the planet for, a sense of how we want to have our future. What if one of them is alive in 3 years and I want some food and I go out there and I have a bite and I go, wow, wasn't this thoughtful? I mean, this is so great because I can have a piece of organic fruit right now that I put in the ground. And when a grandchild comes up and says, hey, Grandma, what you doing? You say, thinking about when in March of 2026, I put this tree in the ground. It's already produced. And she says, wow, that's really cool, Grandma. What's it usually take? And I said, well, 5-6 more years. She said, how much more does that make it? Well, that would be about 8 or 9 years in the ground instead of 4 or 5. But because we put it back in there and it got a good start, there's lots of rain, it's just done really well. And so by putting it in the ground again, it's liable to make even more. Check it out. And so she goes and she looks it up, finds out where it is, and she gets all excited. Grandma, you already grew 3 years for me. And I say, yeah, that's true. She says, I figured that out. That's really wonderful. Yes, it is. But that's why, she said. How, she said. And if it had not been her, it would have been someone else, reminding us of the beauty of sticking with somebody in a piece of land that would otherwise not have the thing this, not be the kind of place this is. It's beautiful. Thank you so much. I've really, really enjoyed talking to you about this. It's such a passionate part of my life. I think about it so much, about why we think we can buy land and own it and separate it from the rest of people, and that then we can sell it without having invested anything in it. Now, some people do, but do they invest as much as if they were paying rent? Is it a savings plan? Maybe, maybe not. Either way, if you've got questions for me, ask me down below in the comments. And while you're down there, check out our nonprofit Summerland and see the items that two of us are artists. We're over 75. We've got artists for sale, art products for sale that remind you to take care of the earth. Thank you so much.